I was thinking about making this video, but yeah, I came across this like brother and sister duo, right? And I was like listening to the story, and it's kind of messed up because it's like now the brother and sister, I think their name was Hector and Maria, and they was like cool together. They did everything together. They looked out for each other. And so, like sometime in the past, the sister got mugged, right? And so Hector kind of felt like bad about it because it's like, since they're like always hanging out together, it was like the one time that he wasn't with his sister, she got mugged and he felt bad about it. So it was like he always felt like he needed to like stay with her and protect her and everything. And so anyway, so they ended up like in this house, and so they was living in the house. Everything was cool. And so cause this place is like real hot, right? Like cause that they think that they lived in Arizona. And so he was like, at one point he was like, yo, I'm gonna get this swimming pool. I'm gonna buy the swimming pool because it's hot out here, right? But then the sister was like, what's the point? Because she couldn't swim. She can't swim, but Hector can. And so she was basically saying like, what's the point of having this pool? And you're gonna, because he saved money. He saved a couple, like I don't know, like a few $100,000, and he was like, "Yo, I could afford the pool," because he kept telling her about like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy this pool, I'm gonna buy it," but she was like, basically like, "What's the point of buying it if we got air conditioner?" Kind of like I don't know, it was just like I was like, man, like if he was gonna buy the pool, let him buy the pool. And so he bought the pool, he did what he did. Like after he kept telling her about it, and but she kept saying like, there's like we gotta pay bills and we gotta pay this, and he was like, okay, yeah, but if something was to happen, everything would still be cool. And so like I said, he ended up buying the pool, and then she was kind of disappointed and shit. And so it was like, man. But she now mind you, like his sister was like she never had a job, and she was always dependent on her parents, like their parents. And so something, I can't remember like what happened to the house, but something happened to the house, and it was like, he needed, because they go half on everything. Now he gets some money coming in every month. Now she got one lump sum of money, but like I said, she doesn't do anything. And so it's kind of like after her money dries up, then what? But he gets, some money every month. He does his thing. So something happened, and then now it's kind of like ever since then, all she's been doing, like, cause all she does is sit there. All she does is sit there. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't have a job, and she's always dependent on like their parents. But they made a pact somewhere down the line that was like, yeah, we're not gonna be asking our parents for money. We're gonna do everything ourselves. When they got this house, the house with the swimming pool, and so, like I said, they've been doing their thing. So like, after he bought the swimming pool, Because he was like, yeah, it's hot. But she was like, there's air conditioning, you could just stay in here. But he was like, you know, you just saying that because you can't swim and all this other stuff. And she was like, yeah, no, that's not the reason why. And you know, kind of like making these excuses. So it was like he bought the pool, that something happened to the house. And so he, you know, she been nagging him about certain things that should be done with this situation. But it just seems like they have been, well, because she's older than him. And she has been living off of the parents all her life. But now it just seems like Hector is kind of like tied at the hip with her and kind of feels a sense of like he kind of has to stay with his sister because he doesn't want anything to happen. And it just kind of feels like if he leaves, you know, he's not there to like kind of protect his sister or something. So he will kind of feel guilty, like if he left and something happened, then it was like it was on him, but he knows that it's not his fault. It's just kind of like this weird thing, right? So anyway, so something happens to the house, and now they gotta pay for some stuff, and then, you know, he's kind of like with the pool, even though he has, like, after the pool, he, you know, he ain't got a lot of money, but he still got some. But their parents was like, because he was always thinking about leaving and moving on his own, though. He always had this feeling. And so the mother, like their mother was like, if you need something, you know, let me know and I'll help you. So he was like, okay, so since I bought this pool, it's because I'm not leaving now because I bought this pool, because now I gotta save up money. But instead of helping me with this apartment, since I'm not getting it, you know, help with the situation that happened at the house. And so the sister was upset because they had this pact that they had to do it on their own and not ask their parents all the time. And so, but he was like, now he already talked to their mother about that situation, and she was fine with it. But the sister wasn't like, she was like, yeah, but we shouldn't have to keep doing that though. But he was like, it was cool. And their mother and Hector was already like fine with the situation. But it's like the sister didn't like it. And then, you know, they had this big like fight. And it was just like, and you know, it was like a huge fight. And so Hector's kind of like damn, like he don't know what to do. Like, cause it's kind of like, I don't know if Maria is understanding the situation that Hector found themselves in, but then it's kind of like, should he have done it? It was kind of like she was kind of guilt tripping him at first because he did it. And then now it's kind of like, it's like he's stuck with this pool. Like, he like, man, bro, you see what I'm saying? It's like now he kind of feels like he's selfish because since it's hot where they live, he wanted the pool to cool off and he could swim. But then she was like, what if something happens to the house? Which eventually did. And she was like, yeah, you shouldn't have done it. It was unnecessary. But it was kind of like, you know, he wanted to do something for himself at least. But then it kind of ended up kind of biting him in the ass. So now, with this situation, you know, in this argument, it's kind of like, you know, then like, cause he like stormed off the room, like, cause she brought up, like, cause like I said, ever since this pool situation, it's kind of like she just been constantly nagging him about money. And then it's like, it just kind of got to the point where it was just like, damn, like he's just getting tired of it. Like, don't you see, like I had, he's like, I had to ask our parents. Just this one time. Like, after this one time, everything would be cool. And it's like, I don't think he should have stormed off. He shouldn't have, what the hell? He shouldn't have stormed off. But it's kind of like, given the situation though, like something's always happening. It's almost like this pool was cursed. Like, it's just like this pool was on some cursed shit. Like, ever since he like got it, it's just been like this problem. And it's just like, I don't know, like should he have done it? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, this situation, what the hell, bro? Why is this doing this? You know what? No, man. So anyway, so yeah, this is what I was like, damn, I've been trying to ponder, like, what should he have done? It's almost like he shouldn't. It's almost like he has to live just to pay bills. Like, it's almost like he can't have fun. You see what I'm saying? It's almost that's basically what it seems like. It just seems like he just has to work just to pay bills. He can't do nothing for himself. The sister, all she do is sit there and does nothing. And she just has this money, this one lump sum. But eventually, like, say if Hector leaves and he lives his own life, like I said, then he'll start feeling guilty. Like, what is Maria up to? You know what I mean? Like, kind of like he will have to leave his sister behind, which he doesn't want to do. But then the money that Maria has would eventually run out. Like, if she was like to pay bills on the house, or something was to happen to the house, and she has to pay for that by herself, because like I said, they go half on everything: food, bills, you know, car insurance, or whatever the thing is. It's always half. The only thing they don't go half on is their own phone bill. And it's just kind of like, now if he leaves and she has to pay for the bills all on her own, eventually that money's going to run out. And since she doesn't do anything, where does that leave her in the future? And then it's like, it's kind of like she's been dependent on her parents, and then now she's dependent on her brother. But he wants to live his own life, but he can't live his own life because he's financially tied at the hip with his sister. And then if he leaves, it's like, what will she do in the future when the money runs out, when her money runs out? So it's kind of like he's in this catch-22. You know what I mean? And then, like, say because like he doesn't have a girlfriend, but like, what if he finds somebody and then goes off with her, and then he'll be leaving his sister behind? And it's like, you see what I'm saying? And it's kind of like crazy. Like, what does he do? You get what I mean? It's kind of like this it's kind of like this messy situation. And it's just like, you know, because I heard that he was like, man, if she would have just done something with her life when he was younger, then it would be kind of like, you know, things would have been better on her end. If you know, because then eventually, because they'll start, if they would to live together, which happened. But if it was like in the alternate universe, if she would have done something with her life a long time ago and then they ended up living together, he would have seen better examples from his big sister to be a go-getter and to do certain stuff. But since she didn't, it's kind of like he's trying to find ways to, like, I don't know, he's just trying to find ways to like live a better life. Then it's kind of like then it's kind of like this thing, like he needs to provide for both. Like he wants to do something that he could end up providing for both of them, so both of them could be straight. And it's like no matter what happens, he's still like theoretically still fighting for his sister. Like he's trying to fight for not only himself but his sister at the same time. And it's just kind of like, I in my honest opinion, I kind of feel like he shouldn't have to do that though. But it's like this is the situation that he technically found himself in. And it's like mad crazy. So it's like, oh shit. Damn, this is not how I wanted to do this. The fuck? Nah, hold on. Because I fucked up. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it's just like, damn. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, man. Like hearing this story, it's just kind of like, it's just kind of hard. Like it's kind of hard thinking about like what would you do in that situation when it's like you kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. Like now the situation with them, you know, because he spent enough money on this pool, he kind of feels like his sister doesn't do anything except for just nag and beg for money. But he doesn't want to leave her because he will feel guilty. But he has to live his own life. But he gets money in every month. She got one lump sum, but eventually it's going to run out because she doesn't do anything. So it's just kind of like, what do you do in that situation? Like, cause he doesn't want to just leave her and just say fuck it. You know what I mean? So like, man, Hector, I don't know, bro. Like, I really don't know what he would, like, I really, cause I was thinking about this whole situation all yesterday, and I was just like, what do you do if you in that situation? Like, I'm like, what do you do? because it just really feels like he's just stuck. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just really feel like he's stuck in this situation. But anyway, I'm like, man, then it just kind of makes me feel like I wish, you know, like hearing this story, or like, you know, thinking about other people in their lives, it really feels like, you know, like I wish people would have been able to know the future. You know what I mean? Like if people knew the future, they could see like, oh shit, like this is not a good idea. This is not, you know what I mean? Because then you would kind of like fix situations. You know what I mean? Like if something was to happen, you would know like, okay, I'm not gonna do this because this is gonna happen, or I'm not gonna do that. You kind of see what I'm saying? So it just really feels like man, if people knew the future, because it was this show a long time ago. It was on ABC, and I forgot the name of the show, and John Cho was in it, and then like everybody passed out. Oh man, I should seriously look this up. It's like everybody passed out, and then everybody woke up, and they all knew the future except for whoever didn't. It was like they were gonna like end up dying or something. It was something crazy like that. I forgot. Like, I'm seriously looking up the name. Yeah, what was it called? No. Oh, cause I'm looking up John Cho right now. Cause if I don't say this, I'm gonna be like upset. Cause I used to like this show. I used to watch it, but I think it was called Flash Forward. Yeah, that's what it was called. It was called Flash Forward. Yeah, there was like people that saw the future. They like 6 months into the future. Then the other people that didn't see the future, they something was gonna happen to them. It's just kind of like that. Like I wish people could like, you know what I'm saying, like see into the future so they could be like yeah, like I'm not gonna do this because, you know, this could happen. You see what I'm saying? Like Hector could have been that dude. He could have seen the future and would have been like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy the pool. You know what I mean? And then, you know, then there's like the pool, like how they set the pool up, like the people that installed it. It was like, I don't know, it was just something weird about it. Like it was like not pumping water right, and they kept giving them the runaround. It was just a whole thing. So it was like, so it was kind of like, yeah, man, like what do you do in that situation? You see what I'm saying? And I've been thinking about this whole time. And it's like I said, if people knew if people could figure out the future, they knew what the future was beholding, like they wouldn't make some of the decisions they made. And then it just makes you think like, damn, if like you could go back in time, like how far would you go back? Would you do, like everybody would do certain things differently. You know what I mean? If you could go back in time. But it's just like, man, bro. Like it's just wild. It's just wild hearing this story. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna say. So like I said, like like I think Maria she should have. The only thing I could say is like for Maria, she should have done what she should have. She should have done what she needed to do to live a better life, so she wouldn't be in this situation. That's all. That's pretty much all I can say. And Hector, it's like hearing his story. Like there was some things that he should have done. You know, like not drop out of school. You know, not hanging out with certain people and shit. But it was just kind of like, after a while, like Maria and Hector was like fending for themselves, and she was taking care of Hector at one point. So it's kind of like if you took on the responsibility to help, like basically raise Hector, kind of, then you should have done something about y'all's living situation. But anyway, that's all I gotta say, man. I'm out. Peace. But like I said before I go, it's kind of like I pose this question to anybody listening. It's like, what should Hector and Maria do? Because like I said, he at this point, he kind of like don't want to live with her. And it's like, I can understand that. He's a grown man now. He just kind of, tired of living with his sister and want to live his own life. But given the circumstances of what I laid out, it's kind of like he will feel guilty if he did. So I pose this question to the audience or whoever's listening. It's like, what should he do? What should Maria do? All right, now I'm gone. Peace.